Is Canada about to join the World Economic Forum? Trump thinks so. And I've got viewers all over the planet, the United States, from New York City to LA, but in Canada, from Toronto to Winnipeg. And folks, I'm here to say over in jolly old England, Australia, I do have the Anglosphere on this channel. So your insights really do matter. And what you're able to do is you're able to provide information, fill in the gaps of the things that we could be missing, and maybe help this channel become much more powerful and have a deeper impact on every single one of us that follow along. Let's continue. So there's a concern that there's global policy testing ground and cross-border creep that's happening right now as the United States and Canada try to iron out some of the wrinkles in our relationship. Concerning matters that need examination, and once again, your insights really do matter here. Because the scary thing is, what if I told you the next global power shift isn't happening in Asia, isn't happening in Europe, it's happening north of the border in the United States. And the fact is that it appears as though Carney, the World Economic Forum, and maybe the EU are up to all different types of negotiations to try to circumvent the United States. So this really does deserve further examination. So the global control, Canada's quiet role. Mark Carney, the Bank of Canada, Bank of England, World Economic Forum, WEF insider, is being groomed as Canada's next Prime Minister, and we already know he is the next Canadian Prime Minister. So what's really going on here? It appears as though part of the World Economic Forum, digital ID, ESG finance, carbon budgets, green-linked mortgages already are underway in Canada. When Trudeau was still in office, his administration was fast-tracking biometric policy, infrastructure, and carpet banking trials. So those things are already in place. And part of the question is Carney's administration going to put the kibosh to those, or is he going to double down on some of Trudeau's policies? We know the rhetoric is really strong right now about get tough on America, but does Carney really mean that? Is he going to double down on these policies, or is he looking for a way to pivot and maybe iron out the wrinkles between the United States and Canada? Good question. Let's continue. Let's hear what Kevin O'Leary has to say, because he's kind of an interesting guy. He's going to make a commentary here about Canada's broken policies and their housing disaster. Let's check out this clip.
But Canada is going through a remarkable transition right now. It's been a very tough time for the last 10 years. It's collapse of the Canadian economy, collapse of the Canadian dollar, collapse of Canadian investment, collapse of Canadian GDP. There's never been a time like this, and unfortunately it's because of Justin Trudeau. He was an idiot.
Trump's call-out and policy leaks. Trump has publicly called out Carney a financial puppet and warns that the WEF frameworks are infiltrating U.S. policy by way of shared resilience planning. The Wall Street Journal, Financial Post, and CBC reporting confirms increased U.S.-Canada tech finance integration, including data frameworks driven by Davos-affiliated NGOs. Kind of a scary thought if you think about it, right? Maybe the more interesting piece of this is Carney's platform includes central bank digital currency experimentation that will influence North American banking laws. So this is another thing that's rapidly changing right before our eyes. And once again, if you have any kind of insights on here, please share, because your comments do matter. No matter where you are in the Anglosphere, the bottom line is it impacts people like us on Main Street. And the viewer's lens may bring a couple of other things into focus, because the questions I have for you are you banking with TD, RBC, or Scotia? You're already inside the system that's rolling out ESG scoring pilots. Kind of crazy if you think about it. Land transfers depend on digital currency controls and credit policy. These are being driven by global rules, not national rules. And there's kind of a scary thought here as well, because let's think about it. It appears as though there's a bigger system in play, one that's not just by nationalities, they really are by more of a global system. So viewers in the US and UK, here's a special piece for you. Viewers in the US and UK really need to pay close attention, because some of these experimental policies taking place in Canada, like right now, could really come and take a roost right there inside UK, inside the United States, and as far away as Australia. So I want you to be aware that these things are very, very real, and they could conceivably impact you as well. No matter where you're watching, drop a flag in the comments section, because I'd love to know where you're from. I get people from all over the place, and it's wonderful to hear from people in England, people in Canada, people in Australia. Heck, I've got people in New Zealand watching, South Africa, you name it. So we're all in this together. Drop an I if you're tracking the WEF footprint and where you live, because this is stuff that maybe your typical viewer might not be paying attention to, but I'm here to say we have a more sophisticated viewer on this channel, and you see things that the rest of us don't. Hit like, hit subscribe, help me feed Charlie, and finally, make sure you're remembering that the biggest battle we're fighting is the one between our ears. Celebrate your victories, and I'll catch you in the next video.